Well, good morning guys, hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel. So today I've come down to the Lake District and I'm actually with Mr. Gary Goff, so we'll catch up with him a little later on because he's way back up there up on the hillside over the top there somewhere. But just at the minute I want to walk you through what I've just found here. So if I spin you around, you'll see, looking back down the hill, if I can kind of tilt you a little bit down here, you can see all the bluebells are just starting to flower down here on this hillside slope. And then we've got these beautiful birch trees in the background here which are just coming out into leaf, and it's got those wonderful vibrant greens that I've been searching for the past week. If anybody follows me on Instagram, you'll see I've been out and about searching for some really nice spring colour, and it's really late this year, especially in my neck of the woods. The trees aren't really coming out and we're not getting those fresh greens, because I think those fresh greens work so well along with the colour. So found this little area. We just kind of camped just down the road last night, and we've come this morning up onto this little hillside slope here, and as you can see it's just starting to happen for us here. We're kind of near Grasmere and that sort of area, and Ambleside, so I want to work around this area today, see what I can find. But this first little composition I think is definitely worth working with. I'm looking at it at the minute. If I spin you back around again, I've got these 3 birch trees, or 2 birch trees. There's another one down to the left there. The problem I have where I'm stood right at the minute is, as you can see, this tree here is up above the horizon, and if I want to include the hills in the background, I don't want that tree sticking up above because I just think it's too distracting. So one of two things: I either have to change my composition and letterbox it and just take a section of those trees so I eliminate the background entirely, or I have to go further up the hill and shoot down on it so that I can get that tree down below the horizon level there. But I'm going to try both. So I think what I'll do first is, seeing as I'm already here, I'll set up and try and grab a shot more of a letterbox format down here and try and capture the details that I have here, and then I'll move up the hill and maybe go full 4x3 and try and capture the whole scene. But yeah, we'll get started here first and I'll start to walk you through it. So guys, I'll just press record on the back of the camera now so you can see what I'm looking at. Now what you'll see is I've got this panorama letterbox format, and the reason for that is, as I was explaining before, this tree up on the left here is sticking up above the horizon, and I want to eliminate that as well because I want no sky in there at all, and bring more sort of emphasis to the trees that I'm focused on. Now you'll see in the frame that I have here, I've got the 3 trees, 3 main trees, and then that little one that I'm focused on just in the middle there, and they're all in a line. Now the top right of the frame you'll see is the slope coming down, and that's the difficult part of this shot, is that everything's on a slope, so it's quite difficult to make sense of, if that makes any sense to you guys. So I'm putting that top part of the slope top right, and then the lower side of the slope obviously in the bottom left, so that the eye's got somewhere to be drawn to, so it's kind of leading you down into those trees, into the lower section of the frame, without leading you out of it again. Now hopefully what those flowers will do as well in that lower section of the frame, down in this bottom section here, will actually give you a little bit of foreground interest and a little bit of foreground colour, because we haven't got a fantastic amount of light today. So what I'm actually hoping for is, over on the horizon in that direction, we have got a little bit more light, and hopefully it'll give me some sort of directional light on this scene to make it stand out and pop a little more. but you kind of got to work with what you have, and obviously this is at the minute what I have, so it's kind of a waiting game almost. Now settings really simple, to be honest, nothing complicated about it. ISO 100, f16, about 1/4 of a second at the minute. I'm not concerned about the fact that I've got a little bit of breeze, a little bit of wind. I actually don't mind a little bit of movement in those branches beyond there, because they're quite a way off in the frame anyway, so you're not going to really notice them unless you're really close in. And it just kind of gives that sort of feel of a little bit of movement and motion in the frame anyway, so I'm not concerned about that at all. The only things that I didn't really want to move is more of those lower flowers, but again, they're quite far away in the frame, you're not really going to notice it. It's just serving its purpose as a kind of pop of colour. So I'm just going to wait around, wait for the light. Hopefully it'll kind of give me some sort of a bit more depth and a bit more dimension to the image if I can just get that little bit of light. So if that works out, I'll pop this image up for you next, and then we'll move up the hill and I'll try and encompass more of what's going on in the frame. So now that I've come up and gained this little bit of elevation looking down on the scene, you can see it doesn't work as well at all. You've got all these trees kind of stacked behind each other now, and that's not working at all, and there's no way to get further across to make that work like it was when I was lower down here. And the other thing I've got going on, if you look over here to the hill, which is going to be behind it if I've got a more open frame, the sky kind of creeps into the shot, obviously because I want it in that shot, but because of the slope of the mountains off in the distance there, it kind of slopes down and off to the right, and that's not working for me at all. It's kind of pulling your attention away from what's going on down here. So for me, it's not going to work, this shot. It's one of those that I'm just going to have to walk away from, because there's no other way to make it work for me. And I think the other thing that happens is the splashes of colour that I was getting before are kind of getting lost in the frame as well. Now, it would have been nicer to have a little bit of better light on that shot that I've just taken down there, but it's what I have, and it's what I have to work with. I think I got a little bit more than I did earlier, so what I'm going to have to do is kind of work with that in post a little, see if I can bring out the best I can. But yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes you've just got to kind of work with what you have. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to kind of have a scout around, see what else I can find. I might head up over the hill, see if I can find out where Gary is and what he's shooting, and have another search around the area and see what else we can work with. But there's plenty of time today. We might move on to a different area, and hopefully the light will improve as the day goes on. And here is the man himself, wandering about in the undergrowth. Mr. Gary Goff.
Just walked up there, I'm knackered. How bad is that?
Yeah.
That little incline there, it's that little tiny incline.
Yeah, I'll just zoom you around, look at that.
Blowing up my backside.
He's huffing and puffing like nobody's business, look at it. So I just came over the hill to see what you were doing, and I found you shooting this little bit of woodland down here. Now, I'm not going to vlog it myself because we've just done a bit on Gary's video, so go and watch Gary's video from the same location, and you'll see the kind of compositions we were working on in this little area here. But it's lovely, isn't it?
It's lovely, though, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And without any spoilers, it's amazing. I've been working the area for about half an hour. Then Paul came up, and we genuinely didn't show each other the pictures, and I didn't ask you your composition until eventually you found compositions. I left you to it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the difference, really, from the same spot the different images or different compositions that you and I both came up with,
yeah.
literally from the same spot.
Exactly, and I'll grab your images as well, and I can kind of show the comparisons as well. I'll just flash them up on screen, and I'll also just leave that link to Gary's video on that as well, and then you can kind of check that out. And at least it's going to kind of make sense, and we're not kind of doing the same thing, and people are going to get something different from both that way, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
But a lovely little area. There's something definitely to come back to, I think. Bit of fog, bit of snow.
Oh,
it'd be absolutely amazing.
It is brilliant. I didn't even know it existed.
No.
I know about the woods. I love these woods. But I've never ventured as far as we have today.
Yeah.
To grab a shot like this.
So we've had a little lunch now and headed back out and just come up the hill just a little more from where we just were there, and found this lovely little wood, and there's some lovely bluebells and lovely lush greens through here as well. I mean, the trees just look absolutely beautiful, and if I just basically spin you around here, you can just see what I'm looking at. All these beautiful lush greens in this kind of beech wood through here just look absolutely amazing at this time of year. So gonna have a little look around here, and hopefully we get something to work with, because it's really nice. So now we've had to wander through these woods, and as I was saying to you, we've got these lovely beautiful lime greens. Came round the corner from those beech trees up there, and obviously we've got some more beech trees in the background, but what really drew me into this is this carpet of green. It's just absolutely fantastic, really exploding with colour. And as I've previously said, I really love the lime green, fresh green colour at this time of year. It really explodes. Now what we've got here is we've got a larch tree just off in the distance, and it's completely different because it's the only one in between all these. Basically there's a few oaks here, but it's mainly a beech woodland, so it really stands out to me. And using this carpet of fresh green leading up to it, I think works really well. Tried to kind of space out all these trees to give me the maximum amount of separation between them. Obviously it's already exploding with green colour, so I'm not going to use a polarizer or anything like that, because it's just going to oversaturate it and make it too much. And to be quite honest, we've got a little bit of light, but it's not so much that it's really reflecting back off these greens anyway. So what I do have to watch though is just below us here, is further down the hill, we have got a main road running. So every now and then there'll be a car or a wagon or something like that will come through, and you'll actually start to see that through the trees. So I'm having to wait for an opportune moment to kind of take this frame and make it work. But if I just line myself up now, you'll see just in the background there, where I'm putting my focus point now, that's where that larch tree is, and that's kind of what I want to kind of use as a focal point. Now it's quite far back in the frame, so it might not be hugely noticeable, but I think it really works within the frame. Now off to the left, you have this lighter area in the trees there. You can just see that on the back of the camera there, and you've just seen a car go through, so you can see what I was talking about there. You've got that lighter area on the left kind of top corner, and on the right it's more of a deeper vibrant green. So I think overall this frame works really well. Now again, I'm quite far back, I'm away from everything that's moving, so I'm not too worried about shutter speed here. I'm more concentrating on what's happening in the overall frame, and I can kind of wait for the opportune moment for that wind to die down if I need to. Obviously I've got the ability to kind of raise my ISO and kind of adjust my shutter speed there, but that's kind of a last resort. And it hasn't really been that windy up to now. Of course it is now that I've come to take this image. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of concentrate on this, wait for the right little bit of light, and hopefully it turns out. And if it does, here's this shot. Looks nice, eh? Lovely. Looks pretty special, eh?
Just got to come for a walk sometimes, haven't you?
That's all you can do. Just have a little bit of a wander around, see what you can find, but look at this.
It's a famous quote, but it's so true. The best thing you could buy when you start out your journey in photography is a good pair of boots.
It's right, yeah.
We were just over there, we could have just driven off.
Yeah, we wouldn't have seen any of this.
Wouldn't have seen any of this. That's just wonderful.
You'll see I've got a panorama format again, and the reason why I'm using these over and over today is because I think they work so well, especially in a scene like this, to get rid of sky. So if I go into my settings now and I go into my 4x3, you'll see what happens with this image basically without actually zooming in, which I could do. I could zoom in and get a better frame, but what you've still got is that top left corner with sky in the frame, and without actually doing some work to remove that, there's not a lot I could really do. And I do feel as though as well there's a whole lot going on in the bottom of the frame, and I think there's maybe a little bit too much. So if I go back and I go into my, there we go, if I go into my panoramic format there, you can see that it eliminates a lot of that, and it gets rid of a lot of the distracting elements I find anyway. So if I just set myself up and get my composition back again, that's kind of where I was. Now what I have there is I've got a character of a tree off to the right over here. If I select my focus point, you'll see just there. Really like that because that kind of frames the right of the image. And over here I've got boulders on the left here, which I think works really, really well. I've obviously got the path that leads in from almost like the center of the image right the way through, and then back here, if I just look through now, you'll just see, if I select that, you can see a birch leaning over in the background. I think that's a nice element to include as well. Now, the only thing I don't really like is this tree back here. And the reason why is I've tried really hard to get into a position without moving either off this path, because obviously I've got bluebells left and right and I don't want to trample on them, to eliminate that tree in the background, because there's two obviously, there's one overlapping another. But I think it's far enough back not to be too much of an issue. I've done my best with the rest of the trees. These two in the foreground here, I'm hiding trees behind them both where I am now, and they're out the way I think now. But it's the kind of the best I can do and best I can make of the situation. But I think it works so well. So it's a case now of just waiting for a little bit of light. We are getting some now, at least from this morning, we're getting a little bit more directional light. And these colours are popping so well that I really don't need to use a polarizer for this, because it's going to oversaturate the greens. So I'm just going to grab this shot, simple enough. We've got no wind in here whatsoever, so I can forget about shutter speed. It's not going to be an issue. And yeah, wait for the light and grab the shot. So we've both just been taking this composition here. If I just show you, Gary's setting his shot up just through there, using those branches above there as kind of a frame, with that log going off in the distance there, and that boulder just to the left works really nicely. What do you think of that shot, Gary?
That is pretty something, isn't it?
It's nice, isn't it?
That is really, really nice.
The colours are just really popping. And every now and then we just get this light coming through and it just illuminates it even more.
And again, this time next week, when those bluebells are fully out,
Yeah,
there'll be something special in it.
I would say so.
Something special. Okay. Hello. I'm ready when you are. Hello.
So, it's been a good fun day, hasn't it?
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, got here last night, had a bit of a laugh, something to eat, and then headed out this morning at dead early, wasn't it?
You sure you're 6 foot? You've never seen 6 foot.
Yeah, I shrunk. No, well,
No, seriously, I've thoroughly enjoyed today.
Yeah, good.
Happy with the woodland, happy with the images that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
Loved earlier on when you worked a composition or compositions into an area that I just worked.
Yeah.
And they were completely different
Yeah.
from the images that I took, and we literally stood in the same square
Yes.
of grass.
Square metre.
Yeah, but that excites me because that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because that just goes to show I didn't see what you saw, so that means there's still room for me to learn.
Mm.
And you didn't see what I saw.
Yeah,
That's
still
probably
room for
because
me.
it was crap, to be fair.
Still room for me to learn as well.
Yeah. No, but I love it. It's great. That's what it's all about. And that this afternoon,
Oh yeah, we found a lovely spot.
that was something special.
Yeah,
And I might not even put those pictures out because we've mentioned about coming back
yeah,
next week, because the bluebells weren't quite up 100%, were they?
yeah.
Lots of bulbs were still closed and not open, so a week from now I imagine the density of that blue will be twice as strong as it was today.
I would think so. I mean, I might pop one or two of those images up, and if we do get back here next week, then I'll just repeat the compositions, and then I can kind of show you the differences between what we've taken today and what we get on the next trip.
And I'm buzzing, like we said earlier, I'm buzzing because the pictures we captured were when the conditions were just not conducive to woodland photography at all. And like I said on my video, that you can't always just wait and not bother going to the woods until the conditions are perfect. Otherwise, you'd never go to the woods. You'd never go out and shoot landscapes, because the conditions aren't right. You know, there isn't a red sky, there's no sunset, there's no sunrise. It's just nonsense. You've just got to go out and take the best shot that you can at the time. Yeah. And then make it better next time.
Yeah, definitely.
And then make it better again.
I mean, there's so many people go out, have this fixed idea in their head that it's got to be a sunrise, it's got to be a sunset, it's got to be in golden hour, and none of it matters. You can get good shots at any time. It doesn't really matter. It could be really harsh light, but you'll always find something that works in that light.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's just about getting out there and getting into it, really. Yeah. Finding something. And I was struggling when I first got here this morning to even see anything up there this morning. I found one shot that kind of worked, which you'll probably see at the beginning of my video. But these shots that we've got this afternoon, I think, worked far better.
Yeah, something special.
Yeah, definitely.
I loved it. Absolutely fantastic. Well, cheers. I just want to say thanks a lot. I've enjoyed your company.
Yeah, me too.
To be fair, I didn't think I would. What?
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
No, but just listen to what Adam Gibbs says about you all the time. I just wasn't looking forward to.
Just ignore it.
Our collaboration. But to be fair, I'm very surprised.
Been good fun.
You're a very amicable person.
I was waiting for something else there.
Nearly likeable, in fact.
Well, thanks very much for joining us, guys. Go and check Gary's video out. I'll put a link in the description and also a card up above so you can go and check that video out so you can see those images we were just talking about. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.